For this deep dive, we are going to check out a tool called AgentGPT.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
As we get started, it feels worth noting this is one of the most underwhelming tools that I've played with so far. However, I think it has the most potential. So if I was doing superlatives here, I would rank it low on current capabilities, but probably pretty high, maybe the highest of a lot of the different demos that I've seen on potential. What you'll be able to see here is how this could really start to shape up into a pretty powerful use case for AI. So AgentGPT, let's jump in. If you come to the homepage, they do a great job of putting front and center the experience. Is very reminiscent of ChatGPT, which makes sense. They're not hiding the fact that they are using GPT to drive this engine. But if I had to try and describe what AgentGPT does in a nutshell, it is creating different loops of information. Typically with ChatGPT, you would feed in a prompt, you get back a response, and then you have to determine what's next. But AgentGPT is using that response to then create the next prompt and keep feeding it back into the engine, giving you really this comprehensive list as it loops through the content over and over again. Along the way, what you'll notice on the right side of the screen is it's going to create tasks as it gets going. I'm gonna get started because you're gonna get to watch it work, and then I'm gonna talk you through a few things as that gets underway. So what we're gonna do together right now is we are going to plan a detailed trip to Hawaii. I have a personal curiosity here and personal experience that would lead me to believe I could at least somewhat reasonably evaluate if it's done a good job here. And so you'll notice I just clicked plan a detailed trip to Hawaii, which was a prompt they gave me. And then it started getting to work. It started creating tasks. And when I came to AgentGPT the first time, it took me a second to figure out what was going on here. And it started creating tasks, and then it looks like executing new prompts. And what you'll notice is it is actually trying to book flights at the moment, right? It's just kind of hallucinating on its own, going down this path. Why it's pretty underwhelming is it doesn't seem like there's a lot I can do beyond this. So it's getting to work and really just running, each response, issuing a new prompt over and over again. As I was going through, I would expect to be able to edit. I'd at any point in time pause and edit the prompt that's going back in. You'll notice as it gets started, research the best time to visit Hawaii. Well, chances are if I'm taking a trip, whether or not it's the best time, it's the time that I have available. And so I want to customize it, but it just got to work, assuming the best time was what I was using and started generating a lot of these tasks. It is still working, by the way. So if I come down here, you'll notice it's, getting a response and then feeding it back in over and over again. I can't edit anything. It looks like I can remove an item from the queue. So these tasks seem to be a queue of things that it's going to be working on next. And so it looks like I could say, if I want to plan and book transport, I'm going to remove that. And then I guess as it gets to that step, it wouldn't proceed. We've seen this if you've watched any of the other previous videos around planning a running club or anything like that. And this idea of creating an outline and then using ChatGPT or some other AI tool to fill in the outline is a very common use case. AgentGPT is doing that work for us, but where it goes from a pretty cool idea to at least currently under executed is I can't really edit. It's just I set it in motion and the ball is rolling down the hill and I kind of can't stop it. As you can see here, I've used my max number of loops. None of this is immediately obvious. And so only through playing around that I find, oh, okay, I guess it's only going to cycle through the first 5 tasks. Looks like it did way more than that. And so it's some combination of the prompts as well as the responses. Future use case and where I can see this and why it gets the rating for so much potential is because you can start to see where if this was integrated into a task management tool like Asana or Notion or Basecamp or something I would use to manage my own tasks, then it's now starting to set things up. And then within each task, right, instead of it just running blindly through them, I potentially could prompt it or initiate the next step in the process. I could also imagine for something like planning a trip that would actually start to ask me questions. And then based on my answers to those questions is how it would perform the following prompts and tasks. But this is a very interesting use case. I think seeing it play out is helpful because it helps us realize how close we could be to something that is really powerful and what would look and function a lot like an assistant, but still Not quite there, and perhaps a long way to go as you start to consider all the different edge cases and nuance within each of the decisions that it has prompted, right? You've got budget, you've got location preferences, all of those things. So a lot of potential, and we can see where it's going, but for the time being, it ranks pretty low on the what the heck do I do at the scale. But for now, there you have it, AgentGPT.